Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles the Bands here to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things in our cinema. Today, we have an excellent show for you guys. Before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Well, folks, people are still talking. As a matter of fact, one of the people that touched on this whole situation between Stephen A. Smith, and some people say, well, why don't you let it die? Are you aware of the fact that Stephen A. Smith touched on this again yesterday on his show, the Stephen A. Smith show, when he was reacting to the footage between Richard Jefferson and LeBron James, where LeBron was saying it, and then Stephen A. Smith essentially had a eureka moment where he said, hey, look, turns out this thing wasn't about Bronny after all, right? Because according to what LeBron said, it wasn't even about Bronny. It was about Stephen A. Smith questioning LeBron's fatherhood, right? Parenting skills, essentially. So you had that. Nick Wright came out there. He reacted and gave his thoughts. Even on Gil's Arena, they were up there hollering and screaming. Everybody was fighting about it, kind of weighing in. As a matter of fact, I believe Stephen A. Smith is supposed to be on Gil's Arena today. So that's going to definitely be must-see TV. And how do I know this? Because he said that, right? So I cannot wait to see that. So as we're kind of wrapping up today, Mitch sent over a topic. And he's like, hey, check out what Bill Simmons had to say about the situation. Now, if you know anything about Bill Simmons, he came up with the company, The Ringer, $100 million company, has a very successful podcast and network, used to be a very opinionated person that used to work at ESPN, Boston guy. So we all know who Bill Simmons is, right? We all know who he is. Fantastic. So he's like, check out this article. And this article from Awful Announcing essentially has the following headline saying the following. Bill Simmons, LeBron James expecting people to not talk about Bronny is pretty nuts. And I'm like, looks like there's some more people that have something to say about this. So let me hear what Bill Simmons has to say. But before we even get into what Bill Simmons said, today's video is brought to you by our sponsor, PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports with over 10 million members. PrizePicks makes it easy to get real money action on the sports and players you love. You pick more or less on at least 2 for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. For example, this week on PrizePicks, I'm looking at the upcoming NBA schedule and selecting Stephen Curry for more than 29 points and Kevin Durant for more than 27 points and Anthony Davis for more than 12 rebounds and Luka Doncic for more than 8 assists. If you're like me and you like to play it safe, you'll love PrizePicks' new feature, Flex Plays. It's the safest way to play. You can still cash out even if your lineup isn't perfect. Plus, you can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. On top of this, PrizePicks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money as quick as in 15 minutes. So download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. And remember, whenever you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. Okay, so let's get into what this says. It says, by and large, Bill Simmons has gone out of his way to avoid discussing Bronny James throughout his rookie season with the Los Angeles Lakers. But following LeBron's viral confrontation with Stephen A. Smith on Thursday night, the sports guy couldn't help but weigh in. On the latest episode of the Bill Simmons podcast, the Ringer founder discussed the current state of the NBA media alongside Ryan Russillo and Brian Curtis. And unsurprisingly, they stated with the showdown between James and Smith, which stemmed over the ESPN star's comments regarding Bronny's playing time with the Lakers. Much like Kevin Love, the trio mocked Smith's insistence that he hadn't planned on publicly addressing the altercation until it went viral on Friday morning. But while they poked fun at ESPN's new $100 million man, they didn't necessarily side with James either, with Simmons taking issue with the 4-time MVP's insistence that his son be treated differently by the media than other NBA players. I just feel bad for Bronny. That's why we haven't talked about him that much on this pod, Simmons said. He seems like a nice kid. I've always heard good things about him, and I don't necessarily think he has to be in this situation, but to expect people to not talk about him is pretty nuts. Russillo proceeded to recall the pre-draft discussions regarding the younger James, in which some had gone as far as to suggest that the Lakers are pulling strings to draft the USC guard in the second round was actually a good thing. It just always felt like it was a really simple explanation, because this one gets a uniform. Russillo said in a response to those questioning why the Lakers drafting Bronny was different than other instances of apparent nepotism that are widely accepted. This is different than go in the back and be in charge of travel, right? Simmons and Russillo's stance is hardly unique, as most seem to agree that there isn't any reason that Bronny shouldn't be talked about the same way any other player in the league would be. Nevertheless, so long as LeBron is confronting media members about it, the subject will remain a hot topic of conversation, even for personalities like Simmons who have done their best to avoid it. So, you guys heard what Bill Simmons had to say. Let's just address the last part, where Bill Simmons made it clear that he's trying to avoid it. That right there is him essentially admitting, without saying it, that he is giving Bronny James preferential treatment. All right? He's giving him preferential treatment. And why is he giving him preferential treatment? Because he's LeBron's son. Now, this has been, like, there have been people that have been saying this. Oh, well, you know, the only reason Bronny James is being talked about is because he's LeBron James' son. The only reason Bronny James is being talked about is because he's LeBron James' son. As if to say that, that isn't the reason. Of course it's the reason. It's LeBron's son. What's your point? They're only talking about him because he's LeBron's son. Yeah, I know. That's why they're talking about him. If it was somebody else, we wouldn't be talking about him. That's like saying the only reason they're talking about LeBron is because he's LeBron. Yeah. That's how it works when you're a star. Hello? People feel like, oh, they're only doing this as a way to get views off, but it's quite obvious because it draws a lot of attention. It's the same reason they talk about other stars, like Stephen Curry. If Stephen Curry's son came into the NBA, people would be looking at him too, especially if they were playing on the same team together. Why? Because it's Stephen Curry's son. What's so shocking about this? These are popular people. LeBron is the face of the league. Hello? We all know it. But does it make the points less valid? Because some people are saying, look, and I understand it to an extent, but there are other rookies in this class. Why aren't you talking about them? And again, I answer your question quite simply. Because they're not LeBron's son. Because LeBron's son is going to get more attention. Haven't we all agreed on this? So if we know that, why do you keep asking it? If you know that's the reason, if we know that's the reason, why do you keep asking it? Why do you keep asking it? But I don't even think it's that. I don't even think it's that. And I'm going to tell you why. Because when they were posting positive things about Bronny, whether it's on Instagram or wherever else, on ESPN or whatever, if it's positive, I don't think people are asking this question. Why are they talking about it? Because it's positive. The fact of the matter is that it's the negative coverage they don't want. It's the negative coverage. It's the negative coverage. But the fact is, if they're going to talk about any other star, and Bronny is promoted like a star, certainly was all throughout the summer, then why shouldn't he be discussed? Whether it's positive or negative. Why should he get a pass? When he already clearly has an advantage by being LeBron's son. Why? Why? But Bill Simmons is there saying, I've tried to avoid it. So did Stephen A. Smith. Look how far that got him. And if Bill Simmons' comments get the wind blows it into the wrong ears, they may be mad at him too. Anyway, this is where we are. This is where we live in. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this. I think I pretty much made my thoughts clear on this. I have nothing new to say about it except react to what Bill Simmons said. We catch you guys on the next show. I'm out. Peace.